Morning, brethren. Welcome to another of our devotionals as we start another week. We're still in Psalm 37 and we're going to look at verse 4 this morning. There's a sort of a spiritual ascent going on here in the opening verses of this psalm. First of all, the psalmist says, "Don't fret." And then he goes on to say, "Trust in the Lord." And now it's as if he's climbing even higher. And he says, "Delight yourself in the Lord." Charles Spurgeon says this: "He who was first bidden not to fret was then commanded actively to trust, and now he is told with holy desire to delight himself in God." We are to make the Lord the joy and the rejoicing of our heart. Think of that word, delight. It's quite a strong word in our English even. It's not just liking something or even enjoying something. It's more than that. It's taking great pleasure in. Now, the fact of the matter is that the wicked, they delight themselves, they take great pleasure in the things of this life. They delight in power, influence, in money. They delight in sensual enjoyment. They delight in social status, their careers, and much, much more. The child of God is to delight himself or herself in the Lord. Of course, we can enjoy and be thankful for any positions of responsibility and authority in which we find ourselves. We can be thankful for and delight in and enjoy all the benefits that come as a result of a measure of financial security that God has given us. The same can be said of job fulfillment and many other things. But whilst we can enjoy such things, our delight, our chief source of enjoyment, is to be the Lord. We're to be like the beloved in the Song of Solomon, who was able to say of the one she loved, "As an apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among the sons of men. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste." And the more we delight in the Lord, the less we will fret. Because in order to delight in the Lord, one has to take time to think about the Lord. And when it comes to thinking about the Lord, how much there is to consider. For example, think of the very names by which the Lord has revealed himself to us. Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who will provide. Jehovah Rapha, the Lord who heals. Jehovah Nissi, the Lord my banner. Jehovah Shalom, the Lord who is my peace. Jehovah Ra'ah, the Lord my shepherd. Jehovah Sekenu, the Lord my righteousness. Jehovah Shammah, the Lord who is always there. Think of all of God's attributes that we could focus on. That he is all-powerful, omnipotent. That he is all-knowing, omniscient. That he is everywhere present with us, omnipresent. That he's a compassionate God, a loving God, a forgiving God, a merciful God, a good God, and so the list goes on. And as we think of these things, do we not delight in our God? And the more we delight in the Lord, the more we will want to be like the Lord, and the more we will desire what the Lord desires. And so the second part of the verse goes on to say, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." Now, this is not a verse that can be used to defend the crass health and wealth teaching that God wants to give us whatever we desire. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Sadly, it's used in that way and understood by the proponents of that teaching in that way. The only thing that's holding you back from getting the desires of your heart is your lack of faith. But that's not what this verse is saying. And the psalmist says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. What he means is you will increasingly know what God's will is and what is that which delights God. You will thus increasingly know how to pray to God, your will being conformed to his will. And you will pray for those things that God desires. And thus you're praying for the desires of your own heart to be fulfilled. Charles Haddon Spurgeon, again, let me quote him. Speaking of the believer who delights in the Lord, he says, their will is subdued to God's will, and now they may have what they will. Dear fellow believer, take time today to come aside from all the things that take up your time, and for a few minutes, think about and meditate upon and delight yourself in the Lord. May the Lord bless you. Have a good day.